Hi there, my name is Marley and welcome to my channel, Marley Reads a Lot. Today I'm going to be filming the Anti TBR Tag. I'm jumping on that train. I was tagged by Serena over at A Wandering Mind, so thank you girl. I will link her below and I will link the original creator of this tag as well, along with all of the prompts if you would like to do this tag. So basically what the Anti TBR Tag is, most people are probably familiar because it's a pretty popular tag on YouTube, but there's a bunch of questions basically asking you about the books that you will never read, the authors you will never read, maybe a series you started and didn't finish, that kind of thing. Let's get into it. I actually didn't know if I would ever do this tag because I'm just someone who doesn't like to count out books and say I'll never read them, or even TV shows. I hate to say, oh, I'll never watch that or I'll never read that. So this is definitely hard for me, but there are sort of certain genres that I'm not as into. So anyways, let's just get into it. So the first question is, what is a popular book that everyone loves but you have no interest in reading? For this one, I think I'm gonna say Credence by Penelope Douglas. I know Penelope Douglas is a big romance author, and I think Credence is one of her most popular books. I've definitely heard about it from many different booktubers on here. Not quite sure what the plot is, but I know that it is a taboo romance. I think that's what she writes, and I just don't feel like I'd be into that genre. And some of the descriptions that I've heard about Credence, I'm just like, that would be too much for me. That's like too taboo. I think she also writes like bully romances as well, which this potentially is, or maybe it's not, I don't know, but I'm just not into the vibe of that type of book either. So yeah, wouldn't read Credence. Question number 2 is, what is a classic book or author that you don't have an interest in reading? And honestly, like all of them. I just kind of looked up some classic book titles. Some that I definitely don't have an interest in is Catcher in the Rye. Like, what even is that about? I have no idea. But it doesn't sound interesting. And then Moby Dick, that sounds terrible. Like, just reading about a whale or something like that. Those two books, no interest. But honestly, most classics I don't have an interest in reading. Just the language is just too outdated. It's very hard to read. I have read multiple classics before, but not interested in reading that many more, unless it's something like Dracula maybe, or like Frankenstein, like something cool like that. But yeah. Question 3 is, name a problematic author that you have no interest in reading. There are a lot of problematic authors out there these days. So one of them is Stephen King. So I actually recently did read one of his books, ironically, but it was for a secret TBR that's already up. I read my boyfriend's favorite books. So that is why I read one of his books, but otherwise I'm not really interested in reading anything else. Another one is J.K. Rowling. I'll admit, I never read the Harry Potter series, but I did really like the movies. So a part of me will always be interested in reading the Harry Potter series. In the back of my mind, I feel like I might read it one day, but don't worry, I will not purchase them or support. But also, I'm not interested in reading anything else by her. Like, Harry Potter is the only thing, but nothing else. So that's like my cheat to the question. Another one, I'm just constantly cheating for this question, but another one is Orson Scott Card, which again, I recently read one of his books. It was Ender's Game, and again, I did it for that video for reading my boyfriend's favorite books, but I would never read any more of his books. No. Question number 4 is, what is an author you have read quite a few of their books and just decided they are not for you? One of the authors for this is going to be Stephen King, that I already mentioned. I read one of his books, decided they are not really for me. Well, I read his one of his shorter books, so the idea of reading a longer one just seems terrible. I'm being so rude. Looking at the length of them and the fact that I got bored reading Carrie, which was only 300 pages. No. The other author is E.L. James, the author of 50 Shades of Grey. I read that series simply because I wanted to be in the know. I wanted to be involved in this big pop culture event that was happening. I was a Twilight fan, so just kind of to see the comparisons as there was a Twilight fanfiction. No interested in reading any more of her books. Question 5 is a genre that you have no interest in or a genre you tried to get into and just couldn't. And I think for this one it would be sci-fi for me, specifically adult sci-fi. I feel like that sounds terrible. I recently read Ender's Game, which was sci-fi, and the most sci-fi elements of it, like the spaceship stuff, was my least favorite part. And so I do not think I could ever be into like all that space stuff genuinely, especially if it's written like for an adult where the language is probably more bland and probably like harder to understand. If it's like a teen sci-fi book, I potentially could like it. I'm thinking about the Cinder series, which I've not read. I would be interested in reading that, but like adult sci-fi and more of like the dense sci-fi, I don't think I could do. Question number 6 is a book that you've bought but you will never read. I'm not actually sure if I bought this or if it was a gift because it was so long ago, but I got the Aragon series. It's those dragon books, and I actually read the first one, so I could actually include this for like potentially another question. I read the first book, did not enjoy it, and so I had gotten a box set, so I never finished the rest of the books. Not sure if I ever will. Another one is Lord of the Rings, which I really wanted to read before I saw the movies. Still have not read them, still have not seen the movies, probably like 10 years later, so I don't know if I will ever read those books. Again, in the back of my head, I'm like, I will read them, but I just don't know because I've owned them for probably like 10 years. Question number 7 is a series you have no interest in reading or a series that you started and have DNF'd. So I'll say one for both. A series I have no interest in starting is the Bridgerton series. Sorry, I don't remember who the author is of that. It was a big thing obviously due to the TV show. A lot of people were reading the books because of the TV show. I have no interest. I'm not a big romance reader. I don't like steamy books, which I feel like those might be. I'm not sure if they are. I'm also not really into like historical stuff. I actually have never read a historical romance, so maybe I shouldn't be counting those out, but I just feel like I wouldn't like historical romance, so that's a series that I just will never start. And then for a series I have given up on, again, I'm not someone who normally gives up. I normally am like, just push through, just finish, but I could not get through Adam Silvera's first fantasy book, Infinity Sun, is that what it was called? I think I got like 20% maybe not even that far, and I just couldn't do it. So that was only the first book, so it's not really like I DNF'd a series, it was like I DNF'd the first book. That book was just not good. Adam's writing for his contemporaries is pretty decent. Sometimes I find it to be a little cringe, but mostly pretty decent, but I just think his writing lends itself better to contemporaries rather than fantasies. So the last question is name a new release that you have no interest in reading. So for this one, I could not think of something that I just naturally knew about. So I was looking through some of the new releases online, and it really stumped me because, as I said, I don't want to like count any books out. I didn't really see any that I would say absolutely not, except there is a new 50 Shades book coming out. I had no idea E.L. James is still writing the 50 Shades books, and it's not out yet. I think it was coming out June 1st. A new 50 Shades book from Christian's point of view. She's basically rewriting the whole series, but from Christian's point of view. I knew she released the first book like that, but I didn't know she was doing the other 2 books. So those books are ones I will definitely not read as they come out, or I think this might be the last one, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the only new release / upcoming release that I saw that I have no interest in reading. In summary, I guess I don't like taboo / bully romance or historical romance or sci-fi. That is my version of the Anti TBR tag. I always forget to tag people when I do these, but I'm not even going to tag anyone in this because I think everyone's done the Anti TBR tag at this point. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you hate me for any of my bookish opinions, or let me know if you agree with anything that I said. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Obviously, check out my Bookstagram account and my Goodreads, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!